Just about 2 weeks ago, our Protoss player wrapped up his mandatory military service over in South Korea. Now, in this particular series, he's taking on one of the world's greatest Terrans. Spawning right here, in the top right-hand corner of today's best of 3 series in game number 1. Playing with the red Protoss probes, we have PartinG. His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Terran pieces. He's likewise also from South Korea, and he goes by the name of ByuN. ByuN versus PartinG. This is one of those matchups that you could have literally shown me in like 2011. I'm fairly certain that these guys did play this game professionally more than a decade ago as well. You know what? I can probably look this up. When is the very first time that PartinG and ByuN played against each other? No crazy early game here from both of them, so I can quickly look this up on Aligulek, which is a pretty good database. So I wasn't, okay, yeah, I was actually right. So the first time they played against each other was on the 28th of June, 2011. For what it's worth, at the time, ByuN ended up winning. Yep, that's pretty nuts. These guys, now old men in their late 20s. Ugh, maybe even early 30s, actually. Practically ancient as far as pro gamer terminology goes. 2011, that is 9 years ago. Yep, give or take. That's about 9 years ago. Now, I did cast a series recently, the very first tournament series that PartinG played after he came back from the military. That was against a Terran player named Coffee. And it was very obvious. Two things were very obvious. First off, it was very obvious that the man still has really good micro. So he's always been known for his control, his unit control, very stellar. However, he was also playing strategies that were a little bit dated. He was going for build orders that just don't make as much sense anymore in 2024. Now he's had a little bit more time to practice against. Or against Terran, I guess, but he's had a little bit of time to practice again as well. So we'll see if he decides to play something just a little bit better. Because if he does play what we consider to be normal build orders in 2024, there may be a chance he can actually take down a player of ByuN's caliber. Now, of course, ByuN, a previous world champion of StarCraft 2. This guy is an absolute legend. Some of the very best micro in the world as well. So, yeah, it's probably either him or Clem when it comes to controlling those Terran units. Did he just hold position his probes right there for a moment? Okay. Making them an easy target for the Reaper to shoot at. Now, I'm actually quite excited, though, for PartinG's return. In general, all the top-level Protoss players that we have in SC2, they play textbook, right? They play like StarCraft 2 is an Excel spreadsheet. I'm talking about guys like, for example, especially like MaxPax or like, say, for example, a Showtime or whatever, right? Those guys are very, quote-unquote, defensive and normal. PartinG is very much so the type of dude who will do whatever it takes to win. Like, he will play what we consider to be very dirty. He will do whatever it needs to, or whatever needs to be done to obtain the victory. Hero does like to mix it up, absolutely. But Hero also in this matchup also plays pretty much the same strategy over and over and over again. Now, occasionally maybe a mix-up of a couple Phoenixes rather than like a Stalker opener. I mean, I'm fully expecting we're going to see the same build, by the way, from PartinG in this entire series, because it is very difficult to learn this game. Plus, there's still a lot of varieties, too, when it comes to the Blink Stalker micro, but it's nice to have another crazy Protoss back once again. So this is going to be a grand total of 4 gateways together with a Robo facility. I think PartinG probably plays this game crazier than Hero. So if Hero is considered to be a crazy Protoss, I would imagine that PartinG, give him another month or two, will definitely also be amongst the very, well, there's probably a better word than crazy. Wild might be the better way to put it. Anyways, what in the world is this? ByuN, what was that? So, I fully assumed we were going to see normal builds from ByuN, but not the case. He actually needs to be very cautious. This may very well be ByuN not giving his opponent a lot of respect. The safety shield battery was something he did against Coffee as well. Trying to think of who else. I guess I've seen Classic play a bunch of like 2-base Tempest builds. The first time he did it, it was a bit of a surprise, but now he's done it quite a bit, so it's probably not considered to be that wild anymore. But anyways, this is going to be a good old 4-gate Blink Stalker opener right here by PartinG. Is there enough available for ByuN to defend at home? So he obviously sees, yeah, exactly how much there is. I mean, he did not see the last gateway, but if you see 2 over on the left, it's pretty obvious that there must be a 4th gateway in total too. So ByuN at this point must be fully aware of the fact that he is going up against a man who's gonna just blink a whole load of Stalkers around. Stalkers effectively have double blink if you pick them up in the prism. Theoretically, there's a lot of value to be gained. We don't have Stimpack or anything like that on the horizon. Okay, is there enough? We're gonna pick up, I guess, a couple of them. Nicely done. 1 Stalker has gone down so far. In exchange for a siege tank, that's not bad at all. Oh, and another aggressive blink forward. A little bit of a sideways blink. That prism, a little bit far away, but that is another siege tank once more. We have one more. Ooh, that just rolled out of the factory. Fresh off the conveyor belt. It also ends up going down. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, Banshee being a little bit obnoxious, but no cloaking field or anything researched for it, so Stalkers alone should be a-okay. No observer needed in that particular engagement. Looks like the Banshee will live for now, but a lot of damage here is being done. Not quite perfect control right here on the Stalkers. Maybe not quite, you know, MaxPax's skill level at the moment. Because MaxPax really has been ridiculous in many of his Protoss versus Terran games, but that is still 15 SCVs going down. In total, 10 Stalkers, which is quite pricey. PartinG decides to expand behind this. Now this is what PartinG loved to do though. Back before he went to the military for many years. He effectively invented Blink Stalkers, okay? That's probably a random game designer at Blizzard, but in my mind, PartinG is the one who really popularized this in the early days of StarCraft 2. Turns out you can get a ridiculous amount of value. I do always love this little follow-up with the Prism and 4 Stalkers inside of it. Something we see top-level Protoss players get a lot of value out of, because turns out Marines cannot really, stay up to speed against this sort of thing. So we haven't had a Viking or anything along those lines. So ByuN is not capable here of putting a lot of pressure on his opponent's War Prism. Good pickup right there, right before that shot off the siege tank would indeed connect. On the back of this, a Robo Facility. Yeah, so this is all very respectable play right here from PartinG. Still a little bit of room for improvement, and you can tell here that this has been a successful attack. ByuN wanted to defend this a little bit better than he did. He decided to delay his upgrades for a very long time. So normally one of the main problems that Terran, or that Protoss players rather run into is that counterattack, right? When the +1 is done together with the infantry upgrades. So you go for the +1, then you go for the Stimpack as well as the combat shields. That will all finish up right now. Fair enough. ByuN can go across the map, but now he's playing against one of the big boys. Colossus is out, and that's going to be incredibly helpful against these particular timing pushes. Combat Shield is actually super late. Okay. I actually really like this for PartinG. Just about 2 weeks, I think. So I believe his military service got wrapped up on the 23rd of December. I think this is about... Snatches the medevac. I think it's about 2 weeks. This particular series was played about 2 weeks after he came back. Actually kind of insane. Okay, Command Center is going to finish up here for ByuN eventually. Now he's finally ready to go for a big push. We've had a lot of Terran production for a while. PartinG goes for a 4th base. He looks surprisingly nimble. Like, a lot of StarCraft players, I mean, it's like riding a bicycle, yes. But it turns out the top-tier pro gamers are really smooth when it comes to the pedaling and the steering on the bicycle, you know? It seems that PartinG still has a little bit of rust to get rid of, but overall, he looks very nimble. There have been a bunch of Protoss and Terran players and Zerg players that have returned from the military, but that have never really gotten back to their former glory. Guys like Su come to mind. TY hasn't quite looked as impressive. Stats is another player who came back some time ago, but just hasn't quite looked up to his previous standard. PartinG in this very short amount of time is... There's a couple more names, but PartinG in this very short amount of time has once again... been doing a very good job. Classic, Gumiho. Yeah, there's a bunch of players out there. We do actually have a big commitment here, but they took a lot longer. More SCVs falling. I like this retreat right here from PartinG, actually. Zealots do have the charts upgrade done, so he should be able to push this back. This is some excellent movement here by PartinG. Yeah, both Gumiho and Classic took like a year. There's probably a few more examples, but I think PartinG actually just overwhelmed ByuN here. ByuN, obviously another man who also did his military service. He also took a while before he got back to his previous level. Some might argue that he actually never got back to that point, but he is considered to be one of the very best Terrans in the world. Double Observer. Maybe a little bit ambitious, but he goes for a 5th Nexus as well. So, believe it or not, guys, I've run the numbers. If you're a 5-base Protoss going up against a 2-base Terran, that's good for you. Game number 2. We find ourselves on the map Oceanborn. Well then. 1-0 lead right here for PartinG. And he didn't do it in a cheesy manner, right? He just played stock standard. Well, at least mostly stock standard. I guess he went 4-gate, which some people would consider cheesy, but he made a 3rd Nexus on the back of it. It's one of the standard openers. It's the more aggressive version of the gateway start, but yeah, not bad whatsoever. Even going for that shield battery again in the main mineral line too. It did save him, I guess, against some of that aggression from the Banshee. Okay. So what exactly should ByuN switch up? Well, I think his one Cyclone drop opener was what the kids call very mid. That was not lit, dude. For real, no cap. I low-key think that's a very bad build. Although I have no idea what people that use cool words would say instead of bad. Anyways. Gonna go for a little bit of an engineering bay block. I think the engineering bay block is a great idea. Try and throw PartinG off of the few strategies that he's got. So, are we gonna go for a Zealot now? Do we just make a bunch of probes? Like, this is where pro gamers always kind of struggle, right? As soon as you have to start thinking, ugh, life's hard. It's gonna continue building that engineering bay as well for a little bit longer. Mineral walks the unit back home. Leaves PartinG with the engineering bay residue. Ultimately, though, yeah, that wasn't so bad. But this will definitely throw PartinG just a little bit off of his strategies. The main downside of going for the engineering bay block, and why you don't necessarily see it that often at this level of play, is that it also slows down your own progression. So we don't have a command center yet for ByuN. Obviously the engineering bay, I mean, you get most of the money back when you cancel it, but it's an opportunity cost that you do lose. So now finally the CC starts up. So ultimately, is this an advantage for Terran? Probably not. But it may work out, because now suddenly PartinG finds himself in a position that he has not found himself in several years. Second gateway together with a Twilight Council. Hellions as well. Would have liked to maybe see like a Hellion drop or something along those lines. I can imagine that's something that PartinG doesn't play against all too often. But yeah, this is working out just fine for him. Can we get rid of the Adept? Can we get it out of the base? Looks like she will live. One confirmed kill, dude. Big smile on her face, walking back home. Making my way downtown. Blink once again. Okay. So PartinG just going back to his good old standard. How many gateways will we make? That is gateway number 3. I'm assuming we're gonna see gateway number 4 as well. Together with a robo facility, just like in the previous game. There's the robo facility on the production tab. Huh. Interesting little wall off over here. Would you look at that? triple gateway. So definitely a little different here this time around for PartinG. It's not going to be as committed the Blink Stalker opener. That shows a little bit of range in his playstyle. As we all know, ByuN has got, well, as much range as a Terran ever would need. Sometimes I wonder if ByuN has a little bit too much range in his build orders. It feels to me oftentimes that ByuN just looks at the structures that he's got and he's like, I want this, I want that, and I just send it across. And we'll try to make something out of it. It's a little suboptimal sometimes, but yeah, Terran units can be quite powerful, especially against Protoss in the early game. Okay, so Widowmine drop coming up. Keep in mind that ByuN doesn't know exactly the amount of gateways he's playing against. Good pool? Perfect pool. Perfect. That was a medevac, 3 Widowmines for 1 probe. And I guess a little bit of lost mining time, but we don't count that. Hellions waiting off to the site. Good warp in. Blocks the warp in, or the roll by rather. Oh, that was hot, PartinG. Lovely control. Now he kind of regrets only making 3 gateways. He probably wishes he made 4. Would be nice to just warp in as many reinforcements here as possible. Ooh. How do we feel about that position? That allows you to warp into the main base, as well as on the low ground. And you can ferry unit up to the low ground, or up from the high ground, or up from the low ground, rather. No, down from the low ground, up to the high ground. Anyways, it's a bit of an elevator, is what I'm saying. Third Nexus starts up on the back of this, at home. Yeah, with 3 gateways, it's hard to go and win. Looks like we do have once again a Banshee over in the main base. 2 confirmed kills on it. Double siege tank over here. A little bit of a supply block right there by ByuN gets resolved by dropping one of those supply depots out of the high heavens. Banshee gets pushed back in the bottom right, but 4 confirmed kills to its name. A lot of lost mining time right here though for ByuN as well. Yeah, the siege tanks here are just a little too scary for him to really commit. But then again, no upgrades to be seen here for ByuN. No 3rd command center to be seen here for ByuN. Is he going to be able to kill a Stalker? Yep, we'll be able to kill maybe even 2. Yeah, I think that was where the first 2 Stalkers going down. Prism in the main base. Ooh, grabbing these mules would be amazing. He waits so long before he picks up. So that siege tank was just about a microsecond away from firing again. Just pick up at the latest possible moment, bro. Just micro better. Okay. So this is a really well played game right here for PartinG. I wonder if this would have been 4 gateways if it would have been a win. Instead we have to play a macro match, which I'm here for. Robo Bay finishing up. 5 additional gateways. That makes 8 in total. Together with the charge. All of this is really solid. Yeah, ideally you want to have a Colossus done by the time that this push comes across the map. Stimpack is maybe 30 seconds or so away, maybe a little bit longer than that, and the Colossus is going to be about the similar amount of time, so... Not only do we have good micro here coming out of PartinG, he's also doing an excellent job just controlling everything in the meantime at home. Okay. Yeah, I'm not actually liking this for ByuN. I'm not liking this at all. Protoss is a little bit stronger than it was back when PartinG first went to the military. Maybe not as far as tournament victories go, but they have received a couple buffs. Couple nerfs as well. But I wonder how many of the units that PartinG really plays here are going to be affected by the nerfs. I think he probably overall feels a little bit better about himself. Push over here at the front. PartinG, okay, blinks the units backwards. Prism goes into the main base. There's a medevac though. He spots it, decides to back up. 4th Nexus coming up the bottom. 3rd CC just finishing up. Prism, okay. Indecisiveness is gonna force him to retreat. But I think it was the right decision. No. He's thinking about going back in. There's another missile turret coming up. Okay, so ByuN just slowly moving out on the map. Once again, using the siege tanks to leverage his way to a third command center. Only one unit ends up dying here. That's totally fine here for Protoss. But as Terran is finally securing a third, PartinG is already securing a fourth. Now, of course, this has been a lot of money invested by the Protoss player into infrastructure that doesn't really help him out just yet. So this is still a very delicate moment. But overall, I'm actually favoring PartinG in this position. Upgrade seems a bit late. Gonna make up for that, it seems, by getting a second forts together with a second robo facility. Ghost Academy at the conventional time with 3-base saturation right here for ByuN. Okay, so ByuN looks like he wants to play a macro match, and PartinG is just meeting him head on. Fifth Nexus coming up on the right side of the map too. He's actually thinking about going for an attack. Now that could backfire. He needs to be very cautious. Here come the good old ghosts. Yeah, this is a really tough cookie to... Ooh, no, no, no. Don't crack. Yeah, I don't love that. Now, that is not a position you can push into very effectively. A lot of choke points here built by ByuN. Lovely work, of course. Ghosts are set up properly to EMP any of the zealots that charge through the funnel. Widow Mines and Siege Tanks set up for that splash damage. PartinG decides to retreat. Okay, not married to his attack. That's another good sign. A lot of StarCraft players will be like, but I committed to this. That includes myself. I have a very hard time disengaging from an attack, even though I know it's gonna fail. I find myself committing into fights I should have never taken in the first place. But it feels bad to make the walk of shame, you know? Anyways, Disruptor's coming up. Dark Shrine coming up. +2, +2. I like all of this here for PartinG. What do you actually do here as ByuN? I mean, ByuN is basically just saying, yo, I am gonna chill. ByuN making a gigantic blunder here, by the way, with delaying his 2-2 upgrades. I'm gonna chill here and just max out. So now ByuN is maxed out. Without 2-2 even started. +1 air weapons coming up for PartinG. Stargate building. The man is prepared to play a long match. Okay. I think he's baiting ByuN here. I think he's saying, oh no, I'm gonna attack you. I definitely will. And then he never does. Oh no, I just came back from the military, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I'm gonna attack. I'm not going. He's not going to attack. There's no way he's gonna push into that choke. He already did it once. Yeah, those EMPs are pretty good. +3/+3 on the production tab. Or +3/+2 rather, on the production tab right here for PartinG. ByuN maneuvering around this, secures the 4th base. Vikings trying to get some lucky hits against the Colossi, but not going to happen. Shadow Stride researching. Will we see a gravitic drive apparently? Will we see a fusion core here as well? Or Protoss fusion core, fleet beacon. Same thing, same structure, just different name. Zealots going around the site. Oh, well, it's a bit of a maze over here, but ultimately they do find the siege tank. I actually don't really like this passivity right here coming out of ByuN. I know it's a popular thing in the current meta, but my god, do I dislike passive StarCraft play. It's fun every once in a while, but ByuN basically ever since that Widow Mine drop has decided, nope, nope. Especially somebody like ByuN playing this passively. He can't really push in here. Well, he's got 2 ninjas. That's pretty nice. Not all heroes wear capes, but these dudes do. Creating a bit of a distraction, hoping that maybe he can get one of those disruptors to connect. There's the fleet beacon. 2nd Stargate. Advanced ballistics as well on the other side of the map. 6 base done right now for PartinG on the right side. So ByuN, he's not really on top of his upgrades here, and he's just playing this a little too passive for my liking. I'm not a fan of this overall playstyle. I'm sure it's very effective. That's not my point. It's just a bit boring, you know, when you're effectively forcing your opponent to play 15 minutes no rush. Because PartinG is like, come on, bro, let's play. And ByuN is just not looking for it. No, not excited for it at all. Did I just... Okay, hold up. Whilst that was all going on... I mean, to be fair, I didn't see them on the minimap because they were invisible. No? Okay, sorry. I apologize for that one. Whilst these units are dancing over here on the right side of the map, we have a bunch of guys over here just slicing up a command center. Now, I don't know about the specifics of that either. How in the world can a blade kill a metal structure like that? I don't know, man. It would have to be very sharp. But he does kill the command center, plus all of those siege tanks. Bunch of SCVs falling as well. Now, maybe ByuN has got his opponent cornered. Disruptors, though, helping out. Good control right there once again by PartinG. Big warp in here on the right side of the map. Vikings have not actually managed to kill anything. Yeah, no Colossus kill, no Prism kill either, so PartinG is actually just 50 supply ahead at this point, plus significantly ahead macro-wise. He's got everything for him here. This is insane. Did PartinG just destroy ByuN? Here's the reinforcements coming up. He has a ton of money in the bank. He's fully set up for a SkyToss transition too. Wouldn't mind seeing him make a couple of those units just to get that bank down and to really seal the deal, but this is a gigantic advantage at this point. BioArmy decides to retarget on the Disruptors, but that's giving those Zealots another moment to charge. PartinG wipes the floor with ByuN and obtains what seems to be almost an easy 2-0 win.